Welcome to this basic introduction to gates. If you want a more advanced introduction to gates or a bit quicker look at gates, please do watch the video linked in the description, which is under advanced mixing techniques. So, first question is, what is a gate and how can it be used? Well, gates are used in a live and studio setting to get rid of unwanted noise from microphones. For example, if you recorded a kick drum, or if you have a microphone on a kick drum and the gain's slightly too high, or it's picking up other instruments that are slightly louder, for example, guitars in a live setting or the snare drum in a studio setting, you can remove that unwanted audio by using a gate. Okay, so the trick with gates is to imagine a real life gate and say to yourself, if the gate is closed, then no one can get through it. Whereas if the gate is open, then everyone can get through it. Obviously, you close the gate once you're done with it, and that kind of signifies that no one or no almost audio can get through at the same time. Okay, so to give you a quick example of this and show you how it works, I've got a session here in Logic with some drums on it. And in the drums, drum recordings, there's quite a lot of unwanted noise, in particular on this particular tom. So let's have a quick listen to the tom drum and see what it sounds like. You'll be able to hear all the unwanted signal and noise in a form of snare drum, cymbals, bit of kick in there, here and there, and then you'll hear the actual high tom that we want to isolate just here. So this will clean up our overall recording, make it sound a bit more crisp, a bit more professional, and we won't have audio that we want to audio that we don't want to affect being affected. So here we go, have a listen, see what it sounds like. So as you can hear there's a lot of cymbal content, quite a bit of snare content, and then a very clear and defined high tom sound. So we can use this gate in, as we've mentioned, live and studio settings. In a studio setting in Logic, all we need to do is go down to our audio effects and go down to dynamics, as the gate is a dynamic processor. We then go down to noise gate and select our favorite noise gate in Logic, which is the default noise gate for our high tom. That's been now put into our signal chain, meaning that any signal that goes through it will also need to go through this particular plugin. Okay. So on the gate, we have a number of options. These include the threshold, the attack, the hold, and the release. Okay, so these four options will design the sound going in and see how much sound actually opens the gate and closes the gate. We also have two little icons here, so open and close, which will signify when the gate is open and closed. Okay, so once again, if the gate is in the open position, all the audio will come through, nothing will be stopped. And if the gate is in the closed position, there'll be no audio coming through until the gate is triggered open. Okay, so to trigger the gate open, we need to set a threshold. This is the level of audio incoming that will open up our gate. Imagine the strength that you need to push open the gate in real life. Okay, obviously some gates need a bit more push than others, and some gates will just open up by their own. Okay, so we're going to change the threshold first and then see where we can find out. The way I like to do this is by looping a signal, or in a live setting, having the drummer play their tom, give the tom a hit, and then tweak as we go. So let's tweak the threshold up until the gate starts to close. So here we go. So the gate's still open, we're going to push this threshold higher. You can see the gate starting to open and close there. So you can still hear these kick and snare. And there we go. So minus 15 dB on the threshold is for our gate setting on the threshold. This allows the gate to close for anything below the audio threshold limit, and then opens the gate for anything above that. There we go. So that's the threshold set. Obviously, you heard as I was moving up, if it's set too low, so i.e. minus 20, you'll probably hear the gate get triggered by the kick and the snare a bit more. So you can hear sharp blasts of snare that's been triggered at minus 20, but at minus 15, that kind of covers everything. Okay, there we go. So after this, we're going to move on to the attack. The attack is how quickly the gate is going to open. So with a slow attack, that gate is going to take quite a bit of time to open up, but with a very fast attack, the gate's going to open instantly. Okay, so for very dynamic sounds, we want a very quick attack to make sure the gate opens up so you can actually hear the initial hit. Okay, if the attack is too slow, you won't hear the initial hit of the stick, and you'll just hear the resonance of the tom. So you hear a boom rather than a boom. Okay, so let's start off with a very slow attack. Let's start off at 100 milliseconds. See what it sounds like. I will tighten this loop up a bit, as now we've found what will trigger it, what will trigger the gate, and what won't trigger the gate. So let's move that to about there, see what it sounds like. Let's now edit the attack and see what we can get. So that's with a very slow attack. Okay, and then we'll pull that attack all the way back down, and you should hear a bit more definition of the tom, especially the stick hitting the tom. Okay, just compare for you. This is a fast attack, and this is a slow attack. So with a slow attack, it kind of sounds like the high tom is building up, rather than with a fast attack, it's instantly there, which is what we want. Okay. So, last two options we have is how the gate closes once it's been opened. Sure, the threshold is the point where the audio triggers the gate to open. The attack is how quickly the gate opens, and then the hold and the release is a combination of how slowly or fast the gate is going to close back on itself. So the hold is you holding open the gate for someone to come through. So that's how long you're going to hold the gate open at 100%. Then the release is how quickly the gate is going to close back on itself. Okay, so if you have a very fast closing gate, it might sound a bit unrealistic, but if you have a slow release on the gate, it might sound a bit natural. Okay, so that's where you're going to get most of the decay from the tom. So we'll first look at our hold and see what this does. So we'll have the gate hold itself open for 1,000 milliseconds. So you can see there from these LEDs that the gate doesn't close back on itself because the hold is so long. Whereas if we reduce the hold back to, let's try 50 milliseconds, for example, you'll notice that this gate closes much quicker. There we go. Just going to edit that up a bit. So we've got a bit of a clip of a snare drum. So the hold is how long the gate is open for 100%. Okay. So let's drop this down to 0 milliseconds. Very quick, almost instantaneous. As soon as it's open, it closes back up again. Okay, so it can increase to about 40 milliseconds just so we get that initial attack. Now what we can do is we can look at the release. As we mentioned, the release is how quickly the gate's going to close back on itself. Okay, so if we have a long release, that gate is going to take quite a while to close back up on itself, and a fast release, and a slow release, sorry, the gate's going to close very quickly. So let's have a listen to the gate when the release is 124.2 milliseconds. Okay, let's try a bit wider. Let's try about 680. Okay, so you hear the eventual decay of that gate starting to close back up on itself. Almost like a fade out type effect, which is quite nice. What I'm going to do is we're going to drop this down and see what it sounds like when to get the most natural sound of the tom, and also preserve all this audio information around it. Okay, so let's have a quick tweak of the release. It's quite nice, probably a bit short. There we go. So around 171 milliseconds works quite there. Let's see what happens if we increase this a bit more. Okay, so you can see there at 40 milliseconds that we don't hear the back end of the tom and the resonance of the drum, making it sound more realistic. So let's increase these back up a bit. Let's try around 70. It's getting there. Try a bit more. Let's try 90. And let's try 120. There we go. We're now starting to hear the full effects of that tom. Probably around 133 maybe. That's good. So around there kind of works. So, gates. What instruments can it be used on? Well, we've just used it on a high tom there, but it can be used on a variety of instruments that have a very fast attack. Okay, so you could use this on kick drum, the snare drum, all the toms. You wouldn't use it on the overhead drums because that's got a lot of cymbal content in it and you want to hear the room. You wouldn't put this on gates or bass guitar or vocals or anything that's like a long transient response. So vocals obviously are quite dynamic, so you can have a very quiet vocal and you have quite a loud vocal. So the gate wouldn't work particularly well there. But anything that's quite fast dynamics and quite transient works best on gates. Okay, and there we go. Thank you very much.